Welcome back to another video on my progress of my property on the river. I just want to say that I've had some really wonderful, compassionate people who are very understanding of my situation. But I've also had some people who are just very unpleasant, condescending, and condemning. It's like kicking a victim when they're down. I don't understand this way of thinking. And I'm really quite appalled by it, and it's hurtful. But in any event, there are people that have been nice and kind. For a while, I thought it was just trolls, robots that find things and then they just push out negativity and just nastiness. But then I thought, some people are just emotionally, stunted. And they don't realize how destructive it is on top of this difficult situation. And it's just terrible to see them condemning and insensitive with their words. And they don't even realize they just are on the attack. And it almost made me stop doing this. And then I thought, no, people really want to know what's going on. And there are good people out there that are truly aware, that are praying for me and my sister in this situation. And yes, no one died in my property. It doesn't have to be extreme for it to be emotionally devastating, as it is. More for me than my sister. She's a little bit stronger than I am. In any event, I'm like showing my heart here, and having it stabbed once when you already feel victimized is just a horrible, horrible feeling. I wish these people would really think twice about what they put in the comments, which I don't have to open it up to comments. I could just put videos out there and close the door to comments. But I think the comments help support, when they're nice, they help support the whole process of healing. So I wish people who are writing comments would really think about what they're saying before they attack. In any event, I know it's difficult for everyone in my region, and I have deep compassion for them and have done what I can do to help others, despite the mountain of crap that I got to deal with on my property. But I just wanted to say that, I'm a Christian. I've been praying about this, and I know that doesn't mean a lot to some people out there. But when you pray, you expect God to answer, and God did come through. He actually sent to my sister and I 7 men to help us tear down or take out trees and move the debris, which it was just inundating, and I was frozen. I could barely function on an emotional level. PTSD, I think they call that. It just freezes you up. And you should also know that with this storm came something very unexpected. Not just rain, not just high floodwaters from the rivers, but mudslides that carried huge boulders, all kinds of stones, sizes, and huge trees, not to mention mud. These landslides, they wiped away people, the landscape, and just left these big swaths of mud and debris, which is what I have on my property. That's what these guys are kind of removing right now. Part of it's from the river, but part of it is from these landslides that just came down from the opposite side of the road. And that has been a huge project, just trying to think about how to clean it up and get the property back into some semblance of beauty. And this was a beautiful, beautiful place.
Yeah, all these guys go to my church, except Jason. Jason's new to us. We love him too. But we all were deciding whether we were going to come or we were not. And I wasn't really going to, because I run my own little small business, but the Lord really laid it on our heart. So we gave in, came on a whim, ended up finding an entire setup where they had just started the day we got down here, and we've been running tree ops with them for 4 days now. And like this morning, good example how God works. We went to Little Switzerland first. Then we went to Spruce Pine. Then we ended up in Bakersville, which is a long trip.
Yeah, I know where it is.
We got a call from Bakersville. She's like, hey, I need you to go to this address. So, like, contact Miss Virginia. So we rolled over here. So now that's how we found you guys.
God is good.
He's amazing. He is amazing.
Well, we are beyond grateful to the Lord, to you,
That's it.
and touched, deeply touched.
We love it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
So, as I was saying, the Lord is so gracious and good. He sent these 7 men to help us clean up the property. They took away a lot of the debris that came down from the campground, as much as they could by hand. And I just walked over all of these stones, and you know, they could have twisted an ankle or something, but they were just so kind. On an emotional level, they were supportive. And I just started to cry. I was so touched and moved by not just their kindness and generosity. And they came all the way from Virginia. He said that the Lord put it on his heart to come down here because there was people down here that needed his help. What a good men to listen to God's voice and obey. So one of the guy's names, his website is, well, his business is I Cut Trees, LLC. And I think his name was Brian. I'm not positive. But if you need work done, he's a good guy. And the other guy is Tree and Stump Services. That's Brandon Arnold. His phone number is 540-759-4310. His website is Arnold's Trees at iCloud.com. So he lives in Virginia, but he may come down this way knowing that there's a problem down here. And he is a Christian, and it just touched my heart. I can't even begin to tell you how I felt a healing due to their presence. It was really something I needed, a shot in the arm. I also want to address some of the comments that people didn't know about this storm. This storm was very widely publicized. Maybe they don't have internet. Maybe they don't have phones. I know a lot of people, they live in the back hills, and they may not have these things. It seems kind of hard to believe, but, I won't say that they don't have these things, or relatives and friends that came and told them. I think the real thing and the real issue here is people didn't expect it. They certainly didn't expect the mountain to come sliding down on them in a mudslide. And many of these people's homes were just wiped away because of the mudslides. And if they stayed in them, they probably died, which is a travesty that so many people have died in this storm. And I don't think that I don't care about that. Certainly I do. I just think people thought that it would never happen. They're saying this is a 1 in 500 year storm. Who would think that it would happen? I mean, I'm shocked. It is shocking. It's shocking to see the devastation. It's shocking to see, but it's heartening also to see the cases of water bottles piled up all over the place, and people giving out free food and helping the people, coming together. And it's just an incredible thing to see. And I'm deeply touched by people's care and concern. So we're about 2 weeks in after the storm passed, and it's interesting to see that people are still coming to help. Even though the onslaught of helpers has backed off a little bit, people are still coming to help, and a lot of people with large equipment. The thing is, I have to say that some people are just looking to gain and make some money on it, but others are just very philanthropic and donating their time, their diesel fuel for these heavy-duty machines. But that's where we are now. We need a heavy-duty machine to come in and remove these huge tree I guess they're balls, the ball of the tree, the root system of the tree. That's what we need, and we're trusting that God will supply people to do that. The other thing that I don't know if anybody's even talked about is how does this storm affect septic systems and wells? Because the people in the hills, they don't have sewer. They don't have local waters pumped in. They have wells and septic systems. And my concern is that would be affected in some way. In fact, the river that we're on, they said don't go in the river because it's toxic. It has all kinds of chemicals in it now due to this storm. In fact, we went down to the police station, and the fire department, one of the guys said that some guy went swimming with his dog, and the two of them passed away because the water is toxic. So there's so many things that were affected by this storm, and I just want y'all to know that I'm deeply affected by it, and I don't feel cavalier about this in any way, shape, or form. So I would appreciate people thinking twice before they just blast out nasty comments. It's very hurtful, and it adds injury to an already victimized individual. There's one last thing I want to say. I want to give a shout out to Brandon Ray, who lives in Spruce Pine, he's done a lot of tree service work for my sister and I, and he came with a crane, and he pulled out 2 huge trees that came down. They slid down from the other side in a mudslide, slid down from the other side of the road, and he pulled those out with his crane, and he did it for free. So his name is Brandon Ray, and he's in Spruce Pine. If you do live in the Newland area, which is where we are, if you need service done, he's a great guy. He's a Christian, so he's a brother in the Lord, and that's very important to me and my sister.